Oh, welcome back, everybody. Yeah, you can see I got it out of there. That's kind of a little bit, but yep, it worked. 3 airlines are connected to it, and it came out pretty easy. Thankfully, all 3 airlines, 1, 2, and 3, are different sizes and connections. Normally, if you're disconnecting anything, mark it, mark the dang things. Never try to remember where they go or anything else like that, because you probably won't. Or if project gets delayed and you gotta come back to it months later, or maybe something happens to you or just someone else is going to pick it up, it helps them to know what's going on too. So always mark it. This one still should mark it, but the only reason I'm not going to is because the fittings are different for each one. That one's obviously a male, well, on the line it's a male, and these two are different sizes. So they can't get mixed up. Well, ideally they can't get mixed up. But yep, this is a little brake valve. Turns out each of those are independent, and got it all pulled out. Don't have enough data or storage space on my phone, because I'm recording this from my phone. Don't have enough storage space to show the process, and I don't have any editing software on my computer to cut it down or go through all the things. That's why I got to do it this way. But if anyone else has got to go through this, I've seen 2 different styles of brake valves. These are the more permanent style for the knobs. The other ones they just thread on. But what they'll do, they'll have a little expanding. There we go. You can kind of see that line down the length of it, right there. And they're just a little bit bigger than the hole. And so you got to push them out, and you got to drive them out. Don't want to use like something like this, because even though it'll fit inside, but because it's a taper, it'll actually force it open when you're trying to drive it and make it harder to drive out. So what I did, I used an Allen key, that side, and it's just about the size of that. Hit it with the hammer. You got to an angle, hit it with the hammer to drive it out, because I were planning on replacing these anyway, so I'm not worried about damaging them. So that's why I wasn't worried about banging on them too much. This one was already half out. It slid right out. This one, it wouldn't go one way, so I turned it around to the other side and hit it from the other direction, and it slid right out. Retained everything, so it's all there. As you can see, that panel's still on. Decided not to take it off. To get it off there, I pulled the screws out of the box. 369. The old only had 8. And it's sitting right back here. Let me turn the light on. There we go. Right back there. Now, keep a note for anyone else that's doing it. The screws that go... This is plastic, by the way. The screws that go through the bottom also hold on the hinge for the glove box door. So be mindful of that if you ever got to pull the tray out, or if you got to pull the door out. Those 3 do double duty. So let me just turn that right back on. And on this hinge panel, or any panel you move, take a lot of time, take all the time you need to move it, and check all the wiring and air lines. I was a bit concerned out of this one, it's a bit stiff. And that one is air pressure line for the gauge. But it had enough motion, I wasn't too worried about it. See, this one right here for the PTO, it was pulling real tight to that block right there, and I didn't want to risk damaging the line. Same thing for the indicator light for the PTO. It was getting pulled real tight, but everything else other than that seemed to move okay. Most of all the wires and lines and everything come in on this one big bundle, and most of them will come through this panel up to here, go to the other side, reek through the fuses and break fuses, and then right back into itself. But this, as you can see, it's got that little tip that sticks up back here. So when you go to open the panel, it'll touch right here and keep it from being open too far. Well, it wasn't far enough for me to get the work done on it. So I pulled the screws, these 2 screws that hold it on, and the top one also holds this resistor. And then, if you ain't got anywhere safe to put stuff, put it back where you got it from. It's the easiest way to keep from losing things. Take them out one at a time, go slow, take your time. And that allowed me to pull this open a lot more than before. I could bend this over. I could flex that over, and look at that! That's the tractor. There's where the yellow one was. And the red is over there, just that little bit right about there. Yeah, right there, give me plenty of room. And as you can see, this panel, it wraps around under here. That's my finger, oops, right up under there. And this portion, and as it comes right back here, it even angles down a little bit. So yeah, I wouldn't have been able to get to those blocks to replace them from the underside without taking off all that ductwork and the blower and the heater and everything, and that would have been a huge pain. And this is the emptiest dashboard I've ever had the pleasure to work on. Plenty of room to work on anything. You have one big duct coming up for your heat and defrost. It's like, what? Defrost? Well, now it's heat. You just rotate it. The other one, the top only rotates. I think that's how it's supposed to be, but either way, maybe you can adjust them both independently. Either way, that's your heat and defrost. It's just that one vent, one duct. So yeah, it was plenty easy work, plenty of room to work on. A little tricky to get the wrenches in there to undo the lines, but managed it. So if you got one of these old trucks, got this hinged dashboard, you got to get these out. That's the way I did it. I left it with the nut on there. I left it on there. That way when I'm turning the lines on the back side, it held it in place and it gave me more leverage. And then I undid these two. And then for the last one, I just took the whole block and spun the whole block to get it undone. That way I got 1, 2, 3, and as I mentioned before, it helped for reassembly, because that way each of those 3 fittings are different. And now, I'm going to try taking it apart. Oh, I got the light back on still. Light on still. Let me turn that off. There we go. Now I'm going to pull those screws out of there. I'm going to see if I can get this thing apart. Maybe you have to pull that. I don't know. Just a block or maybe just a different air direction. Either way. I'm going to see if I can rebuild this and preserve as much as I can of it. Has a lot of play, side to side. See how much that's moving there. I shouldn't be doing that. It's not just going up and down, that's normal. Side to side, it shouldn't move like that. And after I do that one, I'll probably put that one in, pull the trailer. That one's got some play with it as well. Then, reconnect it, fire it back up, and see where the next air leak is, and just keep chasing them. I know I got the transmission to do down underneath the cab. You can't see it, but it's down under there. Looks like with the stick right there, it'll be the back side of the transmission. So probably people I bought it from said it was maybe the overdrive box or something like that. Either way, gotta get these taken care of first, then I can get under there and get that one. Now here, something interesting. I've been wondering, because this truck's got plenty of emblems on it. As you can see, it's got the Kenworth. The K and the W are straight in line with each other. Just like the wheel and the rubber matting. You can't see it. Let me turn that light back on again. Come on, phone. There we go. And the rubber mat, it's up and down as well. Yep. But not this one. Throttle pedal, they're at an angle. If the K comes down and the W is at an angle. As is tack. It's at an angle too. It's the crooked emblem. But yet everywhere else has the straight emblem. Maybe this truck's supposed to have both? Just one or the other? Hop out here. Oh yeah, there's another one. Whoop, I don't know what I clicked there. That one's straight. That's the heater box. See the fins right there. Draw air. And the emblem up on the grill. That's straight up and down. It's also blue instead of red. So I don't know which one this is supposed to have. Maybe they swapped the pedal? Or why would they swap the... why would they swap the floor mat? Or rather, why would they swap the tack? Well, maybe it's supposed to have both. Either way. Well... I didn't use a drill to drill those pins out because I don't have a billet. I don't have any drill bits. We'll go buy one. It's a nice day out. I got work to do. Well, that's how you can get into that if you don't have ideal tools. Take your time. It'll work. So, time to open that up. Let's see what we got in there. That wasn't too bad. Not bad at all.